Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. Most welcome to yet another session of EU Business Talks. My name is Ante Milevoy, and our guest of honor today is Mr. Tomas Öhman from Point 65, Sweden. Thomas, good day to you and most welcome.
Good afternoon.
I hardly hear you. Are we okay technical-wise, Matic? Yes, I guess we are. Thomas, yeah, now we are sound and clear. Thomas, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay, great. So just before I went down to the studio, I dared to type Solna into Wikipedia, okay? And you know what was there for me? So your county is the richest county in Sweden. How do you comment on that?
I'm quite surprised. I thought
Yeah?
the counties were more they were richer, actually.
Why is that? Not so many fancy cars on the street, or what? You,
no, there are some what do you call it? Other suburbs that are bigger houses and richer people there. But maybe we are more people in Solna, so together we become richer, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. So, dear friends, Thomas's company is based in Solna. However, he's now talking with us. Is it south of Stockholm from your home, correct?
I'm south of Stockholm, yes, correct.
Okay, and as you can see, he has a very nice window view at his background, and at least some of us, we feel jealous in a way. Well, but yet, as far as I understood, the dark time or the night time is coming in 1 hour or so.
Yeah, that's correct. And also we got our first snow today, so don't be too jealous. It's pretty
cold.
No,
now I'm even more jealous, Thomas, because our sport number one, at least in Slovenia, is, believe it or not, it's not ski jumping, but it's alpine skiing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we are missing our fair share of snow here, and we are looking forward to start the season in a way. And I hope we will not be forced to go up to your house. Anyway, Thomas, I just want to briefly introduce your country, your economy, your company in particular, and your views on what is ahead of us. And maybe as an icebreaker, Thomas, how is Sweden doing now within this last couple 1 year and 9 months of COVID time, economically, I mean?
Economically, we're doing pretty well, actually. It's surprising how well it's going. In March 2020, it looked like everything was going straight down the tube. And but the economy has been surprisingly strong, actually.
Pleased to hear that. Even the service sector, the hospitality sector, for example, it's working normally.
No, of course. I mean, the restaurants and hotels have had a very and travel industry have had a very, very tough time. But the industry, which is the main engine in Sweden, has been going fantastically. So it's been a bit of a paradox in that sense. But you can see there's a huge demand for most consumer goods around the world, and there's a shortage of everything at the moment because of this. I assume it's has a lot to do with these enormous stimuli packages that have been pumping euros and dollars and everything into all the economy. So that has helped a lot, I would say.
Okay, pleased to hear that. And in terms of economy, I think there is not much of us who know at least two global brands that comes from your country, IKEA and Volvo. I think there must be several more others as well.
The new brands like Spotify, for instance. And
sorry
gaming,
for that.
the gaming industry is also a lot from Sweden.
Is that correct? So the brand is even tougher than the country itself. I was not aware of that, but thanks for sharing. So basically, you are on the global map of brands as a country, and you are strong within the EU market, but also globally. Is it fair to say that still EU is your first and most important market as a country?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, for Sweden as a whole, you mean?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Yes.
And in terms of sectors that you are addressing, so the automotive sector, then obviously the IT sector, I would say then together with IKEA or IKEA, how is it pronounced correctly? IKEA or IKEA?
In Swedish it's IKEA, but in English IKEA.
So we are now putting also the furniture sector along. What else is there in Sweden in top 5 priority sectors?
Well, I mean, you have the telecom sector with Ericsson at the top.
Of course, Ericsson, yeah.
Then there's a lot of industry like Atlas Copco is in the pneumatic compressor industry, and
SAP, Vivek from India is
no longer. I mean, they have the aviation still, but not the cars. They're gone.
Okay.
And Scania, the trucking industry, Volvo Trucks is still a Swedish company, but Scania was sold to Volkswagen a few years ago.
Ah, okay.
These were pretty big, but and also SKF, it's the biggest ball bearing company in the world. You have Electrolux. So there's a lot of big. I mean, it's almost a bit strange that so many big industries are coming from Sweden.
No, it's not strange. I mean, I hope we would be that lucky. And so you mentioned 7, 8, 9 brands already, all global ones. Yeah. How is Ericsson doing, by the way? There were some years that they were maybe two in the back room waiting for better times, I guess.
Yeah,
now.
I think they're doing pretty well now with the 5G rollout. And also, I just read today that they bought a big cloud company. It's one of the biggest deals ever made in Sweden. They bought it for 55 billion euros or 5.5 billion euros. No, must be more. 50 billion euros or something. Huge,
okay.
Deal. So.
Dear Thomas, dear friends, let me reread the things that we have shared with you in our invite. So Thomas is owner and CEO of Point65 Sweden, based in Solna, Sweden. Company is a leading outdoor specializing at backpacks, kayaks, and offers a wide range of pedal sports products. Today, their products are sold all over the world, and innovation is still their hallmark. Thomas, backpacks, innovation, kayaks, innovation. Yeah. Can you please take it from there forward? How can you be innovative for 20 plus years with this kind of products?
Yeah, we started as a hobby, more or less, a fun thing to do on the side. It was to sell kayaks with our brand on it. I was myself in the advertising industry, and it was, instead of just selling sort of ideas of how to do an ad or a campaign, was a lot of fun to actually sell an actual physical product. So that's how it started, and then my brother and I have this company together, and he was also in a completely different industry, and then we started building this brand in Sweden, and it quickly became the biggest brand in Sweden in kayaks, which is a very small niche, but within the outdoor industry. But then we had this idea about making a modular kayak, which we realized about 12 years ago. And so you can take the kayak apart and put it in your car. You can put in an extra piece. You have instead of a solo kayak, it becomes a tandem or a triple or a quadruple. Our record was 100 people in one kayak, which was over 200 meters long.
Jesus.
So this was became very popular around the world, and that's how we started becoming a global company. But also what we didn't know at the time, but which was very good for us, was that we started rolling this out at the same time as the online economy started. I mean, the online purchasing. So shipping kayaks as normal kayaks is very difficult. They're very long and cost a lot to ship, but shipping them in boxes like we do, which are easy to handle and easy to store for the shops or the freight companies, that was a lot easier and cheaper, of course. So we were quite lucky in that sense. And that's how we started to sell in over 50 countries.
So do I understand correctly? You're basically the majority or even all your sales are being done online? Is that correct?
Not the I would say that we used to sell these. I mean, if we take America, for instance, the U.S. market, we used to sell in the big sports chains like Dick's Sporting Goods and LL Bean and things like that. And now, 10 years later, we almost sell nothing there. It's almost, I would say, 90% is drop shipping online. I mean, it's different online sales. I mean, Amazon, for instance, but also our own website and many other online dealers that are selling online. Yeah, that are the main purchasers.
Backpacks, Thomas. So backpacks are part of the kayak story, I guess, or am I wrong?
Well, that was a different story. It was we have some friends who had started this backpack, very special, innovative backpack, which has a hard shell on it. So and it was instead of a soft backpack, it has like a plastic hard shell on it. And what also a little bit that was the idea was to protect your computer or your laptop when you're out bicycling to your work. But it turned out that they were so well built, so they became the highest rated back protector in the world, which was rated by TÜV. So it became very popular within motorcycling industry. So a lot of motorcyclers use it, and so that's was another innovation that sort of took a different way of what we thought. So, and we took that company over and started selling them ourselves. So
under your brand, of course.
Yeah, and they are selling online and mostly in the Asian market.
Okay, Thomas, I see that you are using a Chinese cell number. So, what does it tell to us that you are a frequent traveler over there?
I used to be. I haven't been there for 2 years.
But is it because of your outsourced business there or something else?
we manufacture 99% in China.
Everything over there. Is it your own company there?
No, we used to do something in our own company, but it was too difficult. At that time, I had to go to China 10 times per year. Now it's 2 times per year. So it's a lot easier.
If you are handling the business you are handling, how big is your team? Just so we have an idea,
Well, I mean, up to this Corona situation, we were about 5 people.
Okay.
But now we just last year we've hired about 10 more people. So we are growing very quickly. We as I said, when in March 2020, it looked like we were convinced that we were in the summer of 2020 we would sell a lot of kayaks, because what would people do if they're locked down? I mean, they have to do something, and we thought this was, but it's already started in April, selling like crazy, and we just couldn't meet the demand. And that's not just our company; it's all the kayak companies in the world have had this, and it's just continuing. So,
okay, so I can pretty much understand who are your end users, who are your clients, Thomas. So you said you have motor shops and all sorts of shops online, etc., etc. Who are your clients?
Our typical client is we have distributors and everything. Even in Sweden, we have an external distributor. And
you have only one per country?
Yes, mostly. I mean, there are some countries which have one for the backpacks and one for the kayaks, but so that I would say it's 2 different product groups. So we have.
What's the average background of your particular client, let's say?
They're quite different, but one in France, for instance, is specialized on innovative special products, while in the one we have in Germany is specialized on kayaks, and so it's a bit different. But mostly you can. It's difficult to say. It's difficult. I mean, in Canada, we have one who was selling roofing equipment and then started selling this. So it's very difficult to explain who it is.
No.
Usually,
seems to me that you are enjoying your private life and putting it into the business, and you are taking your business very flexible. So if the sixth sense is saying to you the decision is right, you are taking it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Pleased to hear that. Many of us would like to have this kind of jobs, right, Matic?
It's a lot of work too. So.
Of course it is. Of course. Tomas, one more thing. You said 50 plus countries you are addressing globally here in the room. I think we have at least a couple of different continents present. Yeah. How many do we have, Matic? Okay. 35 online. So are you addressing each and every continent, Tomas? Starting from Europe, obviously, all 27, I guess, countries, but then outside European Union, Asia, Africa?
Africa, not a little bit, not so much. Egypt, we sell a lot, but and South America, also a bit of a not so much, because they have a very, very high customs walls.
Still.
In South America, yeah. So that's a difficult market to get into. But
Americas?
I would say North America, Asia, and Europe are definitely our main markets.
Okay, barriers. That's important questions. Yeah. Why are there barriers for kayaks and backpacks?
Yeah, it would. It's surprising, and for the US, it's been very difficult the last 2 years with a 25% tax that they put on products coming from China. That Trump started, but Biden. We thought maybe Biden would take it away, but he hasn't. So we're still our distributor still has to pay the 25% tax, which of course, or customs, which of course is shown to the. I mean, it's the public, the US public, that has to pay that in the end. So.
My last question here in this part, Tomas, where will you be together with your business in 5 years' time? Will you grow further and you will starting to think and act as a multinational company, a serious company?
Well, I hope not. Not too serious, anyway. No, but we're starting at the moment, we are have a very big project. We're starting rental stations, which are unmanned, and so that you can. It's like, you know, all these trottinettes, or these small bicycles that you can rent on your phone in all the cities. Yeah, more or less the same thing, but kayaks. But of course, in special stations and so forth. So you just go there and you purchase, or you rent it online, and then you get a little code that you put into the lock, and then you can go out and paddle it. So we're setting up about 150 of those next year, which have about 12 kayaks in each. And not just in Sweden, but also in Spain, Germany, and Switzerland, and Canada.
Innovation and product circle. In how many years do you need to put upgrades or updates of your products on the market?
I would say maybe every 3 years.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay.
4.
Now going to the second chapter here in my invite. In your free time, Tomas, you are also acting as Slovenian honorary consul in Sweden. What can you comment on that role?
Well, I was approached because Slovenia needed an honorary consul in Stockholm, because the embassy is in Copenhagen. There is no embassy in Stockholm, so they needed a consul here.
So are you taking care of business mostly, or lost passports, or hospital issues, or?
Yeah, mostly business, I would say. But I get some calls about somebody who's been arrested, or somebody who lost their passport, or things like that. And also there's quite I would say not a huge community, but there's a community of Slovenians in Sweden who came in the 70s. And so they're very, very active. But in the last 2 years or a year and a half, it's been a lot of questions, people who want to go through Slovenia to Croatia and have questions about, you know, what they need to do to go across the border, if there are any restrictions and so forth. And almost every day I get calls about that.
So you are never bored. Once you are done with your job, you go forward with this duty, and then that's it. Thomas, my first person in the chat box is Martin from France. He's working with Africa. Earlier, you were saying that you are active in Egypt, but not the rest of the Africa. Is it because of barriers, or there is no kayak culture over there, or any third option?
It's I would say there's not much of a kayak culture. We have had some requests from South Africa and maybe Kenya, but it's very expensive to ship there from China. We always have to compete with the domestic, you know, production. So for instance, in Slovenia, we have absolutely no sales of kayaks because there's a huge company in Slovenia making kayaks called Roto Slovenia. So we cannot compete with them.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Since you are a professional in this line of business, what's your judgment about Soča River? The fellow Slovenians will understand which river I'm talking about. Is it as beautiful to you as it is to us?
Well, I'm not sure exactly which river it is. When you say Soča River, is the one going through Ljubljana, or?
That's the famous Soča River on the west side of Slovenia, where you can see many kayaks.
Yes, okay. You're talking about whitewater kayaks. Yes, we are not in that whitewater business, unfortunately. So that it's a bit of a white map for me.
Oh no, then I blew it. Surely, it's obvious that I'm a laik in this segment. And
if you talk about the Mediterranean, then it's a different story. So.
Yeah. Martin is asking, you have tourists in Zambia to enjoy Victoria Falls, an opportunity to tap into. What's your comment on that, Thomas?
Yes, as long as they don't go over the edge, that would be a nice place to paddle, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking your picture on that end. Jackie is with us from Romania. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. Do you find it difficult to source from China due to COVID? Are you looking for new suppliers in Eastern Europe, Thomas? What's your opinion within last couple of years from Brussels and elsewhere? We are somehow moving back to our roots.
No, it's we were very lucky because we have a Chinese employee in China we've been working with for 15 years. So that otherwise it would have been a disaster. That's for sure.
Okay. So you are still in safe side and you plan to stick with your current scenario.
Yes, but we're not. I mean, we're always looking around. So.
By the way, are you working with Romania since Jack is from there?
Yes, we do have a distributor in Romania.
Okay.
We usually sell a container per year to Romania.
If you are selling to 50 plus countries, is it a must for you to place a face-to-face visit to your customers?
That's my brother's work, and he insists on doing it because we've had an ongoing competition since we were children on who is in the most countries in the world. So he loves to go to different countries to visit the customers, but mostly to beat me in how many countries we've been.
Well, it sounds like a pure brothership on the best nature. Perfect. Tomas is with us asking you, Thomas, in which parts, meaning states, I guess, in US, your company is mostly present with your products? Yeah, it's a good question. You know, US is huge.
Yeah. Yes, it is a very, very big country, and our distributor there has 2 warehouses, one in Pennsylvania and one in Utah, and so that's their office isn't. But if you look at the end customers, they're mostly, of course, on the coast. So in northeastern US and northwest US, California and Florida. Then we also have customers all over. I mean, most states, I would say, we have had some customer buying from us. But the biggest market is on the coasts.
Okay.
And on the Great Lakes, of course.
Your top 3 selling markets globally?
The top 3 is Germany, Canada, and US at the moment, and Sweden, if that's 4.
Top 3 high potential markets?
I would say Spain and France, and hopefully UK. We don't have a distributor in UK, so if you know someone, you can send me a tip about it.
I do know some of the guys, and I'm pretty much sure that our friends here in the room are smiling, and I'm sure they will send you their follow-up tips on that. I see a hand sign with Brankica. Brankica, do you want to write something in the chat box, or this is just a pure mistake? We don't know, but
I saw someone asking what about Japan and South America.
Yeah, now I see it. Please go on, Thomas.
Yeah, Japan is actually our biggest market for the backpacks. So that's very interesting. It's definitely by far our biggest market for backpacks. And we also sell a lot of kayaks in Japan. But in South America, we don't sell any kayaks, but a little bit of backpacks. So.
Is it Japan huge because of their size? I would bet that you have 1,001 competitors over there.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's our backpack.
Nature, culture?
No, it sort of became a sort of a cult status on our backpack. So it's very well known in Japan and has a big following. So they still.
Pleased to hear that. So whenever our friend Katsuei's son, who is present here with us, see your brand over there, you will pay him an extra dinner when you come over there, okay? Dear friends, it's 31 minutes past the hour. I'm afraid we have come to the very end. I don't know whether it's a sweet end or not, but still, Thomas, I wish to thank you for being with us, for sharing your know-how with us. Very much appreciated. At this very end, I would skip the Russian market question, Thomas, and you want to address it?
Sure. We actually sell. We are the biggest kayak sales in Russia. It's not a lot, but we're still the biggest. And we actually have we do some manufacturing in Russia by on what's it called? There's a company that makes kayaks with our brand and a licensing.
Private label.
Yeah. So
great to hear that. My last question for you, Thomas, before we go off, once you're not in your business, once you're not honorary consul, what do you do in your free time?
Well, there isn't much free time after that, but I like you say, I like skiing, so alpine skiing. So I do that in the Alps every now and then boating in summertime. So that's mostly it. And then I have a pretty big garden, so there's always work on that.
And as a matter of fact, you said you have snow from today, correct?
Yes, a sprinkling of snow. Yes.
So this is the kind of snow which will be lost by the evening time, or is it the real one?
No, it's pretty cold. So, but I'm sure it won't last the week out. So.
Well, to all of our friends who are seeing us for 30 plus Celsius, you know, that's life as well. Yeah. Thomas, once again, thank you very much for being with us. We will share a nice follow-up email with all friends here in the room. Some of them, they will address you later on separately, and maybe you will sell them some of your products, or they will sell you something, you never know. But anyway, it was good talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's fun.
Dear friends,
thank you.
Next week, we will have our guest Normund Bergs, CEO of SAF Technica, based in Riga, Latvia. Same time, same place. Until that time, stay safe and bye-bye.